everyone. Welcome to Spell Bonding. My name's Jordan Reed.
And I'm Lindsay Reed.
And with us is everybody's favorite, who's wearing everybody's favorite shirt, Daniel Spencer.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
Daniel, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Now, you are in real life or not in real life at a castle?
So behind me is the Haunted Mansion of Disney
nice.
World.
Nice.
I am, as you can tell by the lights and everything, the shading behind me, 100% actually there and not using a Zoom background.
Now, okay, good, because I was thinking, like, is Daniel actually there or is he not? And it's really difficult to tell. But my question is, since you are there in real life, what's it like at Disney with everything open back up these days? Is everyone cool, or are they not being chill about stuff?
I mean, people are going to be about as chill as you'd expect, especially for Florida and for Disney World specifically. There's a whole lot of masks. I am inside my own personal bubble, which is why I'm not wearing a mask right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What's on the
otherwise masks are very important, and
I agree.
would need to wear them to keep people safe.
How are the ghosts there social distancing? Are they following the rules, or?
So for the most part they are, but the hitchhiking ghosts at the end of Haunted Mansion have not learned anything, and they continue to get right in your dune buggy right next to you, and that's just disconcerting.
Yeah, it's also a little rude.
It is quite rude, yes.
Yeah. Now, Daniel, is there anything on the outside of your bubble? Is it a Disney commemorative bubble that I'm sure was overpriced, or did you bring your own bubble?
It is a Disney commemorative bubble, not unlike their ponchos that they sell that are just fantastic.
How much are those things? Like $7 or something?
Something like that. The bubbles themselves are actually $15.99.
That's not bad.
It's not too bad for the level of protection that you get, and they're mostly covered. You can get different characters on them. I went with just the classics.
Splaffy Duck.
Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Bricky Mouse and Brinny Mouse.
Yep. Bricky and Brinny, everybody's favorite power couple.
Wow, I love Disney.
Yeah.
They're so innovative when it comes to just so many things.
Yeah, aren't they? Anthropomorphized mice, anthropomorphized ducks, anthropomorphized the whatever Stitch was.
Yeah, he was Experiment 626. I think still counts as an alien.
Oh,
I think
there
so.
we go.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
An extraterrestrial, if you will.
Oh, sure. Thank you, Daniel.
Of course, I want to be respectful.
So if this is your first episode of Spell Bonding, we ask a friend to tell us something creepy or weird or unexplained. And Daniel, you have something for us?
I do. I have one or two stories, depending on how much time we have.
Great. Let's hear it.
So I'm going to start off with one that I think I might have called into the Spooky Spouses hotline about a while back. So my friends and I, this was several years ago, back when they were all in college, we would sneak to a nearby Arboretum.
What most college kids do. They sneak into arboretums.
They're wild. Right? They're wild college days.
And we would do it at night, obviously, because arboretum's open during the day. It's not as interesting. The creepiest part of the arboretum, usually, especially at like 10 p.m., was this giant ziggurat that they had right in the middle. Just looked super creepy, looming large over everything. You have a question?
Hey, Daniel, it's me, Jordan. I have a quick question. For those people, this is not me, but or Lindsay, but for those people watching, again, not us, who might not know what a ziggurat is because maybe they didn't get that far in school. What is that? And this is just for everyone else. I know what it is. So does Linz. But what is that?
It's a very large, like a almost like a pyramid, but it's got like steps to it. It's a tower type of thing. So it's usually, I know it got its roots in Mesopotamia, so
Ooh.
recent. And it's like usually was used as like a temple of some sorts, as far as I understand it.
Okay. Cool. Great. And that's exactly what we know.
Yeah, but for those listeners who aren't
Yes.
aware,
Yes.
And this one had like outcroppings at the top that looked kind of like horns, so it really had that like you're gonna get sacrificed type feel to it.
Yeah.
But this night, that was not the creepiest thing. We walked past one of the exhibits, I guess is the word.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
It was a hedge maze that they had.
Ooh.
And sitting on a bench at the entrance to the hedge maze was a woman dressed in all white with long black hair, and she was just sitting there combing her hair.
As one does.
As one does at like 10:30 at night.
I think
Yes.
Was it me? Was I there or
I don't know. So there was probably about 30 to 40 feet between us and the individual. And this was, like I said, years ago. I did not know you at that point, so I can't say that I really registered the facial features enough to say, that's Lindsay.
Yeah.
Jordan, you have a question.
Hey, it's me, Jordan, again. Now, do you think that this might be for another episode down the road? So you said you didn't know Lindsay back then.
Yes.
Do you think in your own universe, do you think Lindsay existed before you knew her or not?
I think she definitely existed.
Okay.
It was just, I was just saying that I couldn't verify if it was her. If I were to see that same individual now, I would be able to say, yes, that's Lindsay, or no, that's not.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel.
It's sort of an object permanence thing, maybe?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of object permanence.
Okay.
Person permanence? Personance?
Permanence.
Yeah.
Permanence, yes. 100%. So my friends and I all see her and exchange wild, slightly terrified looks, not unlike this.
Ooh, yeah.
But we keep moving. There is an open field in the Arboretum where we liked to hang out, throw light up frisbees, and just shoot the breeze,
Yeah.
So we did that for about 3 hours, and we're on our way back to our cars, and we passed the hedge maze, and the woman had not moved aside from just combing her hair.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. I can't imagine you have that many tangles that you'd take 3 hours to comb it all out.
No,
Yeah.
unless this woman was wearing on her head a very miniature Afghan, the dog with the really long hair.
Yes.
That's my only idea. But other than that, I mean, so okay, for a human sitting on a bench at 10:30 or something at night outside of a hedge maze, or like within the area of a ziggurat, combing your hair for 3+ hours, for a human being, probably not. Now, for a not human, for a deceased person, a spirit, that seems like if you looked up what do spirits like to do, sit in the same spot for hours on end doing doing a repetitive task.
Because they're stuck there.
Because they're stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that you said it was closed. So did that mean that this person would have had to broken in as well to sit there and comb her hair?
Yes.
Okay.
So either she knew the trick to break into the Arboretum, which was to duck under the motion sensor, or she hid in the Arboretum until they closed and then made her way, probably hid in the hedge maze and then made her way to the bench to start the combing process. But what seems most likely to me is that she was a ghost and was able to just phase right through the motion detector without it being set off.
Yeah, there's not too many stories that your like for sure go to is like, yeah, the only one that makes sense is the ghost thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like usually it's the lights keep flickering on and off. Okay, well it could be many things other than a ghost.
It's a short fuse.
But
Yeah.
this one it's like it's a short fuse. It's like 30 mice. But this one it's like, oh, seems to me like it's probably
Yeah.
a ghost.
Probably a ghost. Yeah.
Wow. Have you gone back, or did you see this more than one time, or just the once?
Just the once. We went back to the Arboretum several times, but she never appeared again. So.
That's
pretty interesting.
Did anyone try to talk to her when she?
Oh no, we were all so scared. We were all absolutely terrified.
That's funny.
That's weird.
Because, like, best case scenario, she's a ghost and we get to talk to a ghost.
Yes.
Worst case scenario, she was a serial killer trying to lure people over to talk to her, and then turns out the comb actually a weapon, and then all of a sudden we're not around anymore.
I wonder if it was one of those combs, because they have those
the switchblade ones?
the novelty switchblade combs.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was one of those, and then you walk up and you're like, is everything okay here? And you obviously having some issues with your hair. You've been combing it for 3 hours. And then the woman goes, oh, do you like my fancy switchblade comb? How about my real switchblade? And then maybe she gets, oh, that's my other comb one. Hold on. And then she keeps recycling through all these gag switchblades that she has.
Or
it's
a switchblade comb that's also a knife, and instead of the handle to the comb, it's just a knife. So it's either knife or comb. That's just the whole switchblade part of it.
Yeah.
A Swiss Army switchblade.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you could that's a good idea.
I mean, let's get some patent offices on the line here.
Hold on.
Well, what tool would you want?
I'm going to call Mark Cuban. Go ahead.
Good call.
What tool would you want on a switchblade that doesn't already exist that would be really helpful?
Ooh. A thing that'll just beep when you're looking for it, so that way you can just attach it to your keys and never lose your keys again.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
You just shout a code word like Flurgenbow, and it'll just start beeping or lighting up, and you'll find them in no time.
That'd be a good one.
I think I'd want like maybe a printer.
Printer.
So like if I need to print something, I flip it out and I'm like, well, here's my taxes.
That's a good one.
Because you
that
always
would be
have
amazing.
To print your taxes.
Here's something not really scary, but a conspiracy. Why is it 2020 and everyone is always inconvenienced by having to find or locate a printer, even when it's in your house? And then even if you own a printer, it's always broken. It's not like one of those. It's not one of those things where it's like, it's all of a sudden broken. It's like, oh, it's weird. It's working today. That's really weird.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm going to boot it up, but I know it's going to be low on ink, or there's going to be a band that needs changing. Yeah, 100%. I think it's big printer out to make us just buy more printers constantly.
I agree.
So.
Well, let's move past this really engaging talk about printers. And do you want to tell us your other story?
Yes, I would love to. Okay. It is the story. I was, I want to say like 7 or 8.
Okay.
And I found in a playground at school, in the sand, I found this very miniature sword, probably about that long.
Was it sharp?
It was not like super sharp, but it was, I think, made of like pewter or something.
Uh-huh.
So it was like it would indent your skin if you jammed it in, but like I don't think it would have drawn blood. I never tried. It also could have, because I'm convinced it was cursed. At the hilt where the blade meets the hilt part, there was a large eye. With like the iris was blue. It was a bright, very strong blue. And I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
And I took it home. I'm like, yeah, this is staying with me forever. The following 3 nights, when I had it in my room, I had some of the most intense nightmares I have ever had. They involved very gruesome ways of me not existing anymore. They involved very gruesome things happening to my family and my loved ones. And there were a lot of demons present, which was not ideal.
Especially at that age. I don't know if people who were like 7 to, I don't know, maybe 13 or 13 and younger are really like capable of sort of dealing with demon dreams.
Yeah, I was ill-equipped at best.
Yeah.
And I also used to get a bunch of nosebleeds while I was sleeping as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And so like, I think one of those nights I woke up with a real bad nosebleed, and I was a gross kid. So I'm just gonna preface this with that. When my nose was running as a kid, especially if I was in bed and I just wanted to go back to sleep, I would wipe my nose and then wipe it on my face.
Yeah.
And so,
woo! Yes. I love kid logic. Kid logic to me is so funny because it makes no sense.
No sense.
I love kid logic.
But I know I did this several times when it was actually a nosebleed, and like I would wipe it just all over my face, and then realize eventually like my nose is still running. I need to go talk to my parents, so I would get up and either go into their room where they were sleeping or downstairs, depending on how late it was, with my face just covered in blood in this like war paint type of just.
Daniel, that is so.
I feel like we need to get your parents on and be like, we know your spooky story already. Is your kid coming in covered in blood on his face?
I can't sleep, and your face is covered in blood. Oh my gosh!
Right.
Oh.
Comically enough, not the scariest time that they've seen any of me or my sisters covered in blood, and also not the creepiest thing that any of their children have done. But that's stories about my sisters.
Sure.
But so I know I had a real bad nosebleed one of the nights that I had this thing in my room, and again, kid logic. I'm like, okay, well, I haven't really had bad nightmares before, especially this bad. The only thing that I can think of that's changed is this. I brought this creepy sword home.
Yeah.
So the next day I took it back to the playground and put it right back where I found it, and didn't have any significantly bad nightmares for a while.
So again, both of your stories, it seems like a bunch of the nosebleeds in the bathroom started right when you had the sword. They stopped when you got rid of the sword. The only, at least for us, logical explanation of seeing the woman combing her hair on a bench seems likely it was a ghost. Like the only logical explanations for both of those stories is that cursed sword, cursed novelty mini sword,
Yeah.
ghost.
Yeah.
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 Oh my gosh.
Well, the fact that it was buried in the sand when you found it, it kind of leads me to believe that somebody was already trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think I was not the first to fall prey to the cursed sword, and probably wasn't the last. I have a feeling some other kid probably found it and um, just
No.
had a bad time.
And they're no longer with us.
Yeah, and they're probably no longer with us. Can we all start doing this as a society or just the entire human race? If you find something and you believe it's cursed, a miniature sword, anything really, if you find something that you think is cursed and you want to get rid of it, and the easiest way, if it's not one of those situations where like, you know, you throw it away and then you wake up and it's like on the chair next to your bed or something, but if you get rid of the thing and you know that's the way to get rid of it, leave a note on it or like write something like, hey, pretty sure this is cursed. Take home at your own risk. Like, can we pay it forward that way?
I think that would be a great, you know what we need? We need an app that's kind of like geocaching.
You want me to call Mark Cuban again?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Got him on speaker.
I would hope so. So yeah, we need an app where you can keep track of cursed items and say, I've buried this cursed item here. If you find it here, don't mess with it. Here's all the bad stuff that'll happen.
Oh my gosh, that's a great idea for an app.
Speaking
Right?
of that, you've been randonauting, right?
Yes, I have.
And are you pretty interested and curious in it? Like, is it kind of a bust, or do you feel like it's kind of interesting?
It's led to some interesting things for sure. I think part of it is just like maybe my brain filling in, you know, things that probably aren't there. One time I went randonauting and it led to this weird, like there's a wooded area behind a retirement community, and there was one spot that there was like a small tunnel in the ground, honestly probably just like a foxhole or a, you know, something along those lines, but it looked real creepy, and it also started raining real hard the second that we got there. We did another one almost immediately after that, my former partner and I, and it took us to a house that was just a big geodesic sphere, like the Epcot ball. And technically it was leading us to something in their backyard, but because we don't want to trespass and face potential injuries from trespassing, we decided not to go into their backyard. But it's so far it's taken me to some interesting places that, had I fully explored, could have either proven to be an absolute bust or absolutely fascinating. But since I couldn't fully explore, I choose to believe that they were absolutely fascinating.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is really weird.
I want to go randonauting.
We still want to try it.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it. And I think I mentioned to Jordan a while back, like randonauting to a place and then doing an Estes method like thing there would be so cool.
That would be really cool.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first, everybody. If we do it, it was Daniel's idea, not ours. Again, we aren't that smart. At least not smart enough to come up with an idea that's really good like that one.
If we do it and then we come across that little plastic sword, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm out.
Not doing it anymore.
I'm out.
Absolutely. No, absolutely time to run, hang up the spooky hats. It's just too much.
Over.
If that happens and then all of a sudden you see the art for our podcast change to soupy spouses, and then we only like eat soup or talk about soup, it's because we've become too scared.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I've got lots of different soups that I can recommend.
Thick ones, thin ones, bumpy ones.
Bumpy, like the baked potato soup from Outback Steakhouse. Very bumpy soup.
It's a bumpy soup.
It is.
I don't think I've had it.
Have you had any other like bumpier types of soup? I don't know.
Yeah, it's something I have to explore.
Yeah. Well, Daniel, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
We can high five.
Heck yeah.
Oh.
Ow.
Oh, sorry, Daniel. Sorry, Daniel.
It's all right.
Double nosebleed.
Wipe it on your forehead.
Well, Daniel, if you get any double nosebleeds in the middle of the night and you rub it all over your face, you have to take a picture, okay?
I will definitely do that.
Send it to us.
I will definitely do that.
Be safe, and thank you for being here, Daniel.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a delight.
Bye.
Bye.